Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I'm a network engineer.
And together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yeah, where we are bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're asking the question, must couples agree? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it.
That's an interesting topic because there's so many times when you get into conversations with your spouse and you really want them to understand where you're coming from. But sometimes we get caught up in that understanding piece and think, well, if they don't agree with me, they can't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And that just throws a wrench in the whole works.
If you really did understand where I'm coming from, you would agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is really large for me in this moment because about 2 hours ago, I had this come up in a session.
Oh, okay.
Just today. And I was talking with an individual. The couple is seeing somebody else at another counseling center here in town.
Right.
And the guy was talking with me about it and was really bothered and distraught about how to proceed.
Right.
And it's happened many times in sessions. You and I have personally talked about this issue that couples have.
We sure have.
And it's just so fresh for me in this moment. And this poor guy, I really felt bad for him because he was really endeavoring to do it right with his spouse. They had been using techniques in session. They were going home and practicing the techniques there. We've talked about, I don't even know what we called the video, but a lot of times it's called the speaker-listener technique where,
right.
the husband will, speak for maybe a minute,
right,
or less, probably less, and then the other person says, "Okay, so what I'm hearing is this," and you say it back.
Oh, that's a great video.
You do it for a while, yeah.
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
Flip it around, and the other person is present for the other person.
Right.
And in this particular instance, the one person was talking, and he says back what he heard. And she's like, "Yep." And he says, is there anything else you'd like to say? And so she says some more. And he says, "Well, this is what I heard you say." And said it back. She says, "Yes."
Right.
And is there anything else you'd like to say about that? And she goes, "No, I think that's it." So then the role was flipped.
Right.
And he began to share his side. And this other person became irate because you don't understand me.
Right.
You obviously haven't changed. You're not getting it.
Right.
And it deteriorated into a really big conflict about that. And it was all because the confusion existed in you don't understand me because you don't agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember their percentages, right? How often do couples agree with one another?
Yeah, it's a high number, and I was shocked. 69%.
Yeah, it's a good job, Keith.
Yeah.
So 69% of the time, the problems that married couples have, totally unsolvable. Only 31% can be solved. So most of the time, it's truly conflict management as opposed to conflict solving.
That's right.
So I give an illustration oftentimes when I'm talking with couples about this, because this is a huge, huge deal. And I say to them, I remember a time when Kim and I were talking. I remember we were in our current home, in our current kitchen before we remodeled. We were in front of the stove at the time, and there was some upset between us. I do not remember the topic. My guess is Kim wouldn't even remember this conversation.
Right.
But it was unpleasant, didn't feel good, and I said to her, "Honey, you're so upset about this." And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Well, why?" She says, "Because you don't understand." And I said, "Oh, okay, so let me try." And she said, "Okay." So I said, I get on another topic. So I said, "It's A and B and C."
Right.
And it's really upsetting to you. You're really angry and hurt about it. And she says, "Yes." So I said, "So I do understand. I just disagree about it."
Right.
And that's where you want to get as
Right.
a married couple.
Sure.
Because I love when Kim agrees with me and we're on the same page. It's wonderful, right? I mean, who doesn't want that?
No, that's right.
But when there is something that we're talking about, and I can walk away going, we just disagree about this.
Right.
But she really understands where I'm coming from. I know that I know that I know that I know. She really understands where I'm coming from. She just disagrees. When that happens, I feel really good because I know that I've been understood, and that means that I matter to her.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to get every time with this topic.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So we've just got to get to this place where we get over this thing about we must agree. Because if you mandate that your partner agree with you, you will stay in emotional, relational conflict a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that's meaningful for you. If you liked our content, would you please subscribe, because we both would really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, and ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yep, share it with your friends.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time.